Today we are going to cover the topic of the real reason why women don't invest. And the answer may surprise you. My name is Diana Tapia, and I'm an investor coach. Investor in what? Most importantly, in who? In my first episode, I talked about Bonnie and the change, who she was, and then who, after she made some transformational changes, who she ended up being and what was the result of her doing that change. And what drove Bonnie to actually invest in herself? Was it the items that she invested in? Was it me coaching her? Nope. It was one thing, and that was love, with a capital L. Love is the driver that drives women to make the decisions that pay off later. Lack and scarcity and lack of self-worth are the decisions that basically drive you to self-sabotage. Investing is great. I've been in business for over 20 years. I've invested in real estate. I've sold multi-million-dollar portfolios. I have built businesses from the ground up. And even recently, I invested in a different form of investment that I had not done before. Actually, I've been investing for a very long time. Each one looks a little bit different, but each one fills a purpose. And I always sell and I always buy and I always really get out at the right time. How was that even possible? Because of love. Let me tell you the difference between when you come from a place of love and when you invest because you think you have to and that's all you have, but there's no ground for you to stand on afterwards. When you come from a place of love, even if you make a mistake because you love yourself, guess what? You're your own cheerleader. You're like, I'm going to pat myself on the back. You know what? It's something I didn't know, but now I know. And I'm so proud of myself for having the courage to do something I had not done before. Does that sound like love? What about this one? Dude, you're so stupid. You don't even know what you're doing. Why did you do that? Why did you listen to that person? See, I told you. Oh, how does that feel like? Because if that is the voice of the inner critic, you first need to clean up that inner critic before you invest. And I would tell you why. We're going to talk about love and self-love. As you can see, I got all kinds of stuff going on. I treat myself with self-love with there's many different ways in which I pour into myself self-love, but clothing is one of them and fashion is one of them. I feel like it's a representation of who really I am and who I am inside. And we will put that on the side because there are 5 things that you need to do to really become a really great investor. First, you need permission. And I will tell you why in a second. The second thing that you need is your first investment. If you haven't done it, this place, this channel, this space is right for you because it will always be about you. If you're not investing in yourself, nothing out there matters because you can only bring in, you can only accumulate, you can only build what you have done from the inside. It doesn't work from the outside in, it works from the inside out. Because when you're calm, no matter what is going out there, all is good. If you're fulfilled, if you're satisfied, if you're happy, if you're content, you are not dependent whether you have something or not to fulfill you. Do you see how that goes? All right. The third one is that you need the actual return on income. This is very, very, very important. For people who have not invested before, return on investment, I always say return on income. It's a return on investment. Maybe it's the same thing, ROI. I always look for the ROI in everything, whether it's relationships. It's like, was this an investment? And if you haven't started investing, asking that question, you can go through your life really and look at what was an investment and what wasn't. And I'm going to say you are already a really good investor. You could be like, that was a terrible investment. That was a good investment. Oh, I wish I would have maybe done a little bit more of that. So I'm going to say you already have experience in investing. I'm going to ask you, do you have experience investing in you? I have found that most people have not. I ran into a really nice gentleman yesterday. I was doing laundry at the laundromat, and he, let's just say, found me interesting and started a conversation. And of course, Coach D here was like, so you say this, you say that, so what about this? He has done amazing things. He continues to do amazing things. The one thing that he has not learned how to do, I'm going to say, is an invest in himself. And he talks about a challenge, but he wasn't willing to jump on the challenging or in the bandwagon of self-investing. So if you are in this channel is all about self-finance, financing from within, you being your own investment. Because you become priceless and you become invaluable when you have spent the time, when you have spent the resources, when you have spent the energy, and that's called experience. In this world of AI, of artificial intelligence, human intelligence will always surpass artificial intelligence because it was the human who created the intelligence to begin with. And the creator, the student or the object is never smarter than the creator. Everything has its limits. However, we were created unlimited, with unlimited potential, with unlimited knowledge, with unlimited reservoirs. You just need to be able to tap into your own ingenuity, your own wisdom, your own knowledge, your own wealth. And most importantly, the only thing that will sustain you for the rest of your life will be how much love you pour into you. That is mostly the primary ingredient for investing, because you will have your back no matter what anyone says. And without that, most people are not willing to try again anything sometimes because it was such a horrible experience. And I'm going to say you were probably just a really horrible person to you, because if you had your own back, you would be open and willing to try or to find another way. Okay. So so I said there were 5 things. So I did say permission. I'm giving you permission right now. If you are in the sidelines about investing or most importantly, investing in yourself, I say heck to the yes. Welcome on board. You have my permission if you've been waiting for that. Sometimes we don't realize that we wait for someone else to give us permission before we can go. So if that's you, welcome on board. The second one is invest in yourself. That is number 1. That is the first step. With a foundation in yourself, no matter what you invest in, whether it works, great. And if it doesn't work, it's something that you learn that you can use for the next time. Everything that you learn in life is a tool in your life, and there will be a point in time where you will use it. So be thankful for those lessons that you thought you failed. That's called learning. And we don't always pass everything, but life does give us another pass. All right, then the third one. The third one is your ROI. Make sure that you always get your return on investment, whether that's what did I learn from this, whether that's like there's some money due to me, or there's a next extra step that I need to take to make some money, or I need to hold, or I need to let this relationship go, or I need to let this investment go. I need to let whatever you are investing in, knowing when to pivot is really good. So even if you get out, you basically bring back your wins because you got out at the right time. I always look for the return on investment. And let me just give you an example. When I meet people, it doesn't matter who it is, I always ask, what did I learn from this person today? For me, that was kind of, even though I ran into that person, whether it was for 5 minutes or a lifetime, I feel like that was my return on my time, and it has proved invaluable. So never take situations that that was a waste of time. There is no such thing as a waste of time. I'm going to say maybe if you choose not to see what was being presented to you and you were blind to it, then you didn't get that return on investment. So make sure whether you're actually investing in a form of investing that you stick to it until you get your return of investment. And it may be a little bit different for everyone else, but I love ROIs, and I base a lot of my decision is what is that rate of return I'm going to get back? Because if it's not going to be that great, guess what? We either won't A, be hanging together, B, won't be investing, or D, we're not going to be doing it. So always consider that ROI. The next one is self-image. This is so important because if you were a person that did X, but you want to be a person that does B, you actually have to change not only the way you think about it, but you have to change yourself and the person that you are. So let's say today we're talking about love and really that basic ingredient that you need to make investments. When you come from a place of love, you stop looking for other people for approval, and then you start looking for self-approval. When you come from a place of love, you stop waiting for other people to appreciate you, and then you start self-appreciating. When you come from a place of love, even when you don't get the result you want, you stick to yourself no matter what. That is called self-love. And at the end of the day, if you can go all the way to the end of your days, and if someone was to ask you, what would you wish that would be different from your life? Or what would you change? Or what will you do differently? And you just said, I just wanted to love more, then you lived a very fulfilled and content life. And if that is the only thing that you got out of your life, then I'm going to say you are wealthy and you are rich. So what is the fifth thing that you need? If you're actually looking to start investing in yourself, and yes, investing goes with it, as in is that as above, below. Just because I'm talking about self-investment, it doesn't talk about that that's not going to reflect in the decisions that you make in the near future. There's not one thing that you do with another hand that the other hand will not help you out with. You're basically helping yourself out. The fifth one is time. This is essential. You have to know what time it is. What I mean by that is there's a time to sow, there's a time to plant, there's a time to water, there's a time to reap, and there's a time to eat. These are all different actions and they require different times. Most people don't know what time it is. For example, when I met with this gentleman in the laundromat and I talked to him, he had spent his life doing kind of the same thing over and over and over again. And yet, even in nature, there's a time for the sun to come up and there is a time for the sun to come down. There's a time for fall. There's a time for all seasons. There is a time for everything. I created a very special tool that will help you in your journey to start investing yourself. It's called the time wheel. And all you have to do is just look at the space below and just get the information that you need. It's a special gift that I provided for you. This is something that I use for myself. Yes, I created it specifically for this channel, but when I looked at my life, how I went about it, I saw that first of all, I always invested in myself. I want this wheel to be your clock. And not the one that you go to work with, because it doesn't have that time, but it has the time for what it is that you're doing. So even if the door is not open to do X, the door will probably be open for you to have fun. I threw fun out there because fun is one of the things I find that most people are not having. So yes, it is time to go have fun, because remember, for everything under the sun, there is time. And a wise man said that, King Solomon. All right, so the first one is health. It's time for health. If you have been working too hard and you want to invest, let me tell you, health, all of these are important. So I don't want to come across as one is not as important as the other. Without your health, there is no wealth, because all your money is going to go to taking care of your health. Even if you retire, you will spend your money on your health, because I see it and I know you see it too. Everybody's looking for a different way of doing things. I'm going to say they haven't considered third time. Without it, what's the use of investing or having the money? You won't be able to really use it. And if you do, it's just going to go to your medical bills. So the person that you see today is not the person that I was, let's say, 10 years ago. So that would have been around 2016. Around that time, I used to, and I put this in parentheses because I'm no longer that person, maybe in my mind, but definitely not doing any of those activities today. However, I used to be a triathlete. I used to be, obviously, a runner. I was getting prepared to run a half a marathon with my daughter, and I used to be a weightlifter. I definitely was in a lot of activities, and I was in the physical shape to do these things. And I was a master swimmer. And there came a point in time where my body gave out. And when I say my body gave out, it was me sitting up on my couch, and I couldn't sleep at night because I just didn't have the airway to breathe or the capacity to breathe. And I was basically sleeping at night. And then even then I wasn't really sleeping because let's just say it was a very, let's just say my body lost all of its efficiency, all of its energy. And just to wrap it up for you, you have a very active human being. And I don't know if I mentioned I was a scuba diver, but I was scuba diving at the time. So master scuba diver, I'm telling you, all kinds of amazing little things. And so you have to take advantage of the time, because sometimes our seasons are really, really short. And you never want to live with regret, because when you live with regret, I'm going to say you make bad decisions. But when you come from a place of love, because you were loving yourself the whole time, there's no room for anything else but love in your life. So to wrap that story about health, that was my time. I was running a business at the time, and I'm so thankful that I had created really an efficient business, but there was no time for anything else. And that was the time to take care of me. So if that is you, then please, really consider this. If it wasn't for the amount, and it took me, I was able to bounce back. I never bounced back fully. So I'm going to say that was about a 10-year journey for me, because I am now, I'm going to say, while we're never the person we used to be, and maybe this is as good as I'm going to feel today, and I definitely feel a lot better, but 10 years have passed. And so this is a testament to the work that I have done. Let it be a testament for you. What is money if you don't have your health, right? And it helped me. Investing has helped me invest in me, but it was to take care of me. And isn't that what, at the end of the day, what money is for and what investments are for? And it's very smart to invest in items that will accrue interest over time or value, so you can turn around not only to invest some of that portion, but also to take that portion and not invest in anyone else but you. The second one is health and wealth. What is wealth? If I was to ask you what is important to you, some of you may not say money. Some of you may be like, my arts and supplies to do crafts, hang out with my friends and go to the movies, just drive with the top down and just let the air go down. I just don't have time. I would love to get a new color for my hair, but I don't have time, or I don't have the money. Like, wealth is something very, very different for everyone else. And so while, yes, we want a full balanced life, and we want money to be part of it, I think money's fun, and I think money is great, and money has its place. So wealth, how do you build wealth, and what's important to you? So for me, building wealth is really, I have been taking out of my life all the things that really were not giving me a return on investment. It was more of a waste of time and energy than actually fulfilling and me getting something out of it. Because in our life, it's about giving and it's about receiving. And if you're not receiving, that's probably not the right investment for you, whatever that investment is. So for me, building wealth is having a fashionable closet, for sure, books to read, always learning and growing, surrounded by an environment that helps me grow, that loves me and supports me. That's a very small and intimate environment, totally okay with that. And just time to do nothing. In a world where it seems like our attention is always being grabbed and our attention, it feels great to do absolutely nothing. And I will tell you more about myself later, but we will not go doing there. I find very few people that know how to sit and do nothing, and that is actually a skill. And that is how you build wealth. Because when you live a satisfying life, for some odd reason, money comes right along with it. You don't have to wait to have money to do it. You can start that today. So if that's kind of what you're looking for, that wealth will be just for you. The next one is fun. Yes, fun. Fun is different for everyone. It truly, truly is. For me, fun is teaching, it is coaching. That is not everyone's flavor. That is not everyone's cup of tea. And I know I may not be your peach, and that's okay. Peaches are not for everyone. And yet I have so much fun coaching, interacting with people, diving deep into conversations, into people's worlds. That is fun for me. And so it doesn't know what resonate with everyone. And guess what? I'm okay with it. That is fun to me. And traveling. I love traveling on my terms, not for business or not for work, any of those things. I love traveling. I love shopping. I love eating. I love hanging out with people that I care about. And visiting museums and art pieces. Italy is my very best place, and driving down the Alps with my lovely husband and going on adventures together and exploring has been great. So for me, that is fun. If you want to hang out with me, you need money and you need time. You need those two things if you want to hang out with me. Okay, so that's my fun, but I want to know, what is your fun? And if you haven't done something fun, then you know what? Download the wheel today and get something. Let's make it happen. Start investing in fun. So then the next one is mind. This is of the utmost important. Without your mind, you don't have a healthy body and you don't have a healthy life and you won't be making any money. So all of these are important. However, you do need your mind to do these things. And your life is a reflection of what's in your mind. It's so fascinating. It's like no one looks up in the attic, but the probably root causes of your life are found in your mind. And I'll tell you why. There are two constants in life that to create change, right? To create change, even when I said about the self-image, becoming, in order for you to create person, you would have to stop being the person you were and jump into the space of the person you want to be and consistently do that over and over and over again until you create change. So you would have to recreate basically your mind. You would have to create the image that you have of yourself in your mind. If I was to ask you to draw a picture of yourself and how you feel and think about yourself, I wonder what that would look like. Would it look like a Picasso? Would it look like a Van Gogh? Like, what would it look like? Would it look like the statue of Michelangelo, the statue of David, like that? I truly feel like I'm the feminine version of the statue of David, and that has before it was Edgar Allan Poe, and that was the Task of Amontillado, and that was behind that wall. That was me, and it was not pretty. Today, after a lot of self-love and love and care and fun and investing in my mind and spirit and me and basically wealth, creating wealth and what is meaningful to me, and understanding that helps me make the decision to make investments that feel like they're profitable to me, even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. And of course, most importantly, my health. So I'm here if it wasn't for the investment that I made in me, I would not be here to share my experience, my journey, my knowledge with you. Do you see how that all loops around and knowing what time it is? I'm going to say it's time for me now, time for me to coach. And I'll leave that to the last because we have another one in there. So I talked about a little bit about the mind, but without it, you will only be as efficient. You will only be able to hold. You will only be able to create and build as far as you have put into your mind. You have managed your mind. You have oiled your mind. You have fine-tuned your car. When was the last time you fine-tuned your car? And when was the last time you fine-tuned your mind? When was the last time you gave your car a new coat of paint or a little waxing? But when was the last time you did that for your mind? When was the last time you took out the trash? Or when was the last time you took out the trash from your mind? When was the last time you did spring cleaning in your house? But when was the last time you did spring cleaning on your mind? When was the last time that you planted seeds and watched it grow? And when was the last time you were willing to look into your mind? You probably don't even want to know what's going in there, and there may be cobwebs and spiders and darkness and everything that's scary. So do you see what it is that I'm saying? What time it is for you? Because if it's time for your mind, then you have come to the right channel, because the mind, it all starts with the mind. You can learn how to mine your mind, or you can learn how to destroy your mind. And each of those will give you a very different result in your life. The next one is spirit. When I think of spirit, yes, I do think of the Disney movie Spirit and the Horse. Absolutely. If you resonate with spirit, that is exactly what I'm talking about, the horse. And the spirit in the horse. To be him, to be courageous, and he didn't do it right, but he had the courage to be himself under every circumstance. I also think of this phrase that says, even though I may have lost the battle, it doesn't mean I lost the war. When I think of players who are playing the game, just because they lost a game doesn't mean they lost the championship. So it's always having your own back and always being able to view the world through the micro and through the macro, the small picture and the big picture, the one that they both count equally, but never losing sight of the bigger picture. Just because you're on the floor doesn't mean tomorrow you will not be standing up. But you need to have a strong spirit to always be you. And if you don't know who you are, honey, you come to the right place. You need spirit. You need soul. You need life. Without those things, you have nothing. The last one, of course, is you need you. The best investment you will make is the one that you make in yourself. During the pandemic, I sold my business during that time. I knew, looking at my business, I'm a numbers girl. I looked at the numbers and I could see ahead of time that it was just not sustainable long term. And I made a decision. It was a very, very hard decision, because it was and is a very profitable investment. I'm just going to say that if I wanted more out of life, which I did, without me knowing, that was the right decision for me. And I can see that now. When I made the decision, I knew it was the right decision, but I didn't know why, but I knew it was the right decision. So I have no regret. And I took some of those proceeds and I invested in myself. And when I did that, I invested in my coaching certification. I worked on this, on the mind, because I knew that the world was changing and I didn't know how. But the one thing I knew, that there is always a time for everything. You must upgrade the software. And I'm not just talking about mind, I'm talking about you as a whole. You have to you have to upgrade yourself in whichever way is meaningful to you for you to be able to keep up with the times. Because if you don't, you will fall behind the time. No one knew what the world was going. I'm going to say probably somebody knew, but I'm going to say I didn't know what the world like, and most people didn't know what the world looks like. And the world, we didn't know that the world that was would not be, and that we would enter into a new world. And it just seems that the world is moving at such a higher and faster pace, but that you forget to upgrade yourself. Everything you need is inside of you. You must remain true, and you must remain balanced, and you must remain centered. That is the only way that you will be able to overcome anything that this new world has for us. Without it, you won't survive. It's plain and simple. We were meant to thrive. This world was created for us. We were meant to live. We were meant to laugh. We were meant to feel joy, to feel happiness, to support one another. That's what we were created for. We're very resilient creatures. I'm just going to say we forgot along the way. And so while maybe these aspects over here may not be the actual, 500,000 in the bank, but these are the ingredients that you need to create the 500,000 in the bank. Because as long as you show up, you 100% of the time, everything else, and you follow the action to create the goal that you want, you will eventually get to your goal some way or somehow, as long as you always have your own back, you have self-love, you have love, you build resiliency, you have your mind, you have your spirit, you have your health, you have your wealth, you have fun, and most importantly, you have you at your center. Today, we are going to talk about my favorite item. I had to think about it there for a reason. Fashion. So other than investing, I invest in fashion pieces, and this is what I love. So I just want to share with you the things that I love, and other than coaching, which is my major love, my second love is, well, jewelry and fashion. And so a little bit about me. My mother was a seamstress, and she used to work for really the houses in New York a very long time ago, back in the 70s. So I grew up around patterns and textures and linens and finishes and seams and colors and threads. Like, you don't realize the world that you are immersed in your early years, how it really saturates the person that you become. And while I've always loved fashion and kind of just taken it for granted, the things that I know, but it's really a gift, especially in today's era. You don't really see a lot of people embracing fashion. And if they do, it's not very fashionable. So in my channel, I do want to highlight my favorite pieces. They always have a story. And so in today's episode, I will share with you, hopefully you can see it here. This piece might be all up in your face, excuse me. This is one of my favorite pieces. And I remember going to Italy, and it was part of the time of fun. And I was in Florence, Italy. This was a couple years ago. So when I travel, I just walk, and I walk shops, because I feel, especially for the shops that have the owner in them, for me, it's a very intimate and very personal experience, because I'm in someone else's world, and I love diving into basically other people's, especially creators' world, hearing about their items, their love, their passion, their story, their ingredients. That's where I enjoy being in. This shop was, the gentleman was Paolo, and it's not was, but he's still around. If you're ever in Florence, please stop by and tell him Diana sent you and that she says hi. And I remember Paolo, very eccentric man, very eccentric shop, very Italian, and he carries different pieces from different creators. He used to work in the opera houses in Italia, and now he opened his shop. And so I just love going into his shop. This is one of his pieces. I remember doing a makeover. Talk about changing your self-image. When I did I did an Italian makeover, I needed help with my makeup. And while I've done makeup in the past, it was really never, we're really good at picking up some things. I'm going to say makeup just wasn't my cup of tea. I do very basic things, but I wanted to learn how to do makeup. So I went to I basically just signed up to have a beautiful Italian makeover. I love the colors that they used. And I took a recording of it so I could recreate what they did for me. And so it was just me changing my self-image and then actually showing up for myself, putting my makeup on the way I learned, trying like different styles. And while this is kind of really my natural style, but I was open and willing to trying something else. So back to and talk about investments. It does pay off. This is my love, earrings. I do love fashionable earrings. I do love earrings that are more like one of a kind. I feel like they tell a story. They're very personalized. And so yeah, if you haven't had fun yet with earrings, I invite you to maybe when the fairs come in your area, there are many artists that come, they share their items, they share their creations. You know, our earrings, they're made to hang things, to hang things on them. So if you don't wear earrings, I invite you to start small with maybe a little bauble, or just have fun and pick up something. And if you find something cool because you got inspired with this beautiful Italian creation, please leave it in the comment below. And if you're not into earrings, please let me know what it is that you're into. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you choose. It's what makes you happy. So if you are wanting to want to know a little bit more, please tune in. Every Wednesday I drop down videos. This channel takes time, I'm gonna say that. People don't create change overnight. You can create change in your mind, but it's like planting a seed. Seeds don't bloom overnight. They bloom over a period of time, and that's with attention and watering, and most importantly, you need time. Do you know what time it is? Because it's time to invest in you. If you are tuning in, please make yourself cozy, make this place your home. It definitely is my home, and welcome again to my channel, and thank you.